In every conflict around the world, people experiencing turmoil and strife where they live are granted the opportunity to seek safety in foreign countries as refugees. Usually, nations open their doors, hearts, and bank accounts to help those who are affected by war. But when it comes to Gaza, the international community's response has been nothing short of shameful.
The world is cynically refusing to allow refugees in Gaza who want to leave to come to their countries. In every other conflict around the world, refugees are allowed to leave a war zone and seek a safe haven.
There are currently 108.4 million refugees from conflicts around the world who have been forcibly displaced from their homes, but they have been resettled in countries around the globe. However, Gazan refugees find themselves trapped in a cycle of despair. Even though Egypt shares a border with Gaza and currently hosts 9 million refugees from other global conflicts, they have closed their border and refused to take displaced Gazans into their territory, not even into the Sinai Peninsula, which is a large swath of desert land with mostly open space. Egypt's Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry called the suggestion totally unacceptable and committed to keeping its borders closed. And neighboring Jordan, whose population is 75% Palestinian and whose Queen Rania is herself a Palestinian, will not accept refugees from Gaza. Since 2015, Canada has rescued 44,620 Syrian refugees fleeing their war-torn country. But Canada has only approved 144 visas for Gazans. Why doesn't Canada take in Gazan refugees as it did Syrians? The African Union mandates that countries take in refugees, and yet not one African nation has spoken out in support of Gazan refugees. It's a double standard that must be challenged and rectified. While countries like Canada and Germany have opened their doors to hundreds of thousands of refugees from other conflicts, Gazans are left to fend for themselves. They are oppressed and controlled by Hamas, abandoned by their Arab neighbors, and ignored by the world. This cynical tactic is solely aimed at exerting international pressure on Israel to stop fighting Hamas if Gazans are not free to leave the terrorist-run enclave. However, Israel has made their military goal clear: to remove the Hamas terror regime. In the meantime, the civilians of Gaza want to escape the violence and suffering. Adding insult to injury, Hamas manipulates the suffering of Gazan refugees for their own twisted agenda. The international community sends aid intended for civilians, but instead, the mafia-like Hamas organization steals it and then puts it on sale throughout the country's outdoor markets at exorbitant prices. The only ones who lose are the Gazans themselves. They do not benefit from the aid being sent into the Strip from countries like France, the United States, and even Israel. Instead of caring for the well-being of the residents of Gaza, Hamas claims the welfare of civilians is the job of the United Nations. Hamas uses innocent civilians as human shields, intentionally putting their lives at risk in an effort to garner sympathy for themselves and condemnation of Israel. The more that Gazans suffer, the more sympathy the people of Gaza get. This helps Hamas garner international attention and support, which lines their pockets with cash from donor countries. Gazans have become refugees in their own homes, while Hamas leaders are filthy rich and live a life of luxury in Qatar and Turkey. Gazan refugees are not treated like other refugees around the world. They have their own organization. It's the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. This branch of the UN is actually infected with Hamas terrorists who perpetuate the plight of the average Gaza resident. The role of UNRWA is to support displaced Palestinians, but in its 74 years of existence, UNRWA has never managed to resettle even one refugee. And nothing has changed. During this conflict, the organization has not resettled any refugees. The United Nations estimates that there are about 5 million Palestinians with refugee status globally. The organization has enabled multiple generations of Palestinians to live off of free handouts, keeping them in tight quarters and robbing them of the opportunity to gain independence. It's time for the world to recognize the hypocrisy and injustice being inflicted upon Gazan refugees. They deserve the same compassion and support afforded to refugees from other conflicts. Those who wish to keep Gazans stuck in Gaza are not pro-Palestinian. They are simply anti-Israel.
Well, before you leave, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, we would love to hear how the Lord is moving and touching your heart right now. So be sure to comment below and then share this video with someone you feel needs it just as much as you did.